Hi, today we are going to talk about the game PIP Skull Demo. We will list some characteristics or features that will show insights on how the game was developed. The player has a simple mechanic. You can move your character around, jump and attack once you grab a rock. The enemy on the other side operates on a finite state machine that, depending on its health, it will activate one state or another. The most basic attack is the punch attack, and once one of the power pipes is destroyed, the power drill attack are unlocked. These are the direct drill attack and sideways attack. These will rotate randomly until the last power pipe is destroyed, in which case the final eye laser attack will be set until the boss is defeated. The game used the physics library Canon S. Every object has a corresponding simple shape instantiated in the physical world that represent its hitbox area. On collision with it, both the player and objects implementing an interface named iDamageable will handle the event and trigger the corresponding animations to create the illusion of damage. The animations were authored inside of the Blender's interface. The models were exported as GLB files, which contain in them the animation clips used on each character. For the game, Bandinopla had to code a special class in charge of handling these animation clips and the creation of events on particular times. This class allows to play animation in channels, one main channel for the main animation, and several other channels for additive animations, that is, animations that run on top of the main animation. Like, for example, when the enemy loses a power pipe, this is an additive animation. The reason the main boss has a power drill is because during the development of the game, Bandinopla was exposed to constant construction work on the building in which he was on while coding. For some reason, these frequent and constant work always needed the use of a power drill. Its use was so abusive and ridiculous that he thought in adding it to the game. While developing the game, it was important to test things in isolation. For this reason, a special scene was made that only loaded the thing that was meant to be tested and nothing else. This helped in speeding up the development and focusing on a single aspect, like, for example, to design how the meteors felt to the ground. The scene was made out of a big cube with a very simple sculpting and one rock duplicated at different locations and at different sizes. As a final detail, only those with hack eyes might have noticed the initial skull embedded in the rock at the start of the game. Did you spotted it? Originally, the rocks were going to be grey, the same colour as every other rock. The colour red was actually a happy accident. When working on setting up the environment material, Bandinopla set the environment too red for the tinny pickable rocks. But noticing this error, he thought they looked much better that way and decided to leave them red. The game uses 3's Effect Composer to add passes to implement several effects. But this at one point was stacking too much complexity that made the game run slow, so Bandinopla had to combine some effects into a single shader material. To be able to do this quickly, Shader Toy was used to isolate the shaders and test them before implementing them in the game. For the camera animations, the easiest way to author how the camera should move, and such, was to work inside of Blender. But the problem is that when exporting a GLB from Blender, only one animation per object is exported, so it was not possible to create multiple actions on a single camera. So Bandinopla did one camera per animation clip And then on JavaScript side, he combined the animation of all the cameras into a single one to recreate the camera's animation clips. To load the game's assets, Bandinopla created an assets loading class that would be in charge of the loading. The assets are loaded sequentially, but sorted in the chronological order in which they will be used, as to allow the app to start and run while assets that won't be used right away can be downloaded in the background. Those are 10 layers of the development of PIP Skull Demo's iceberg. Hope you learned something from it, and don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave your comment below. Until we see again.
Estaré